Remember, remember your first record player? It had 3 speeds, 45, 78, 33 and a third was us. Long play.
I have known this man for 62 years. We have been married for 32. We have been positive for 32 years. This gentleman here picked me up with my bicycle on the street when I was 11 and he was 15. He was a very shy boy, but he had enough courage to want me to go bicycle riding with him, and I did. And to fast track a story, we bumped into each other on and off for 30 years. He did 3 tours in Vietnam. We've both been married to other people twice. And when we finally decided to get married, we figured that God had said he had enough of us bumping into each other. We have a blended family. We have 10 grandchildren. We have 14 great-grandchildren, 4 daughters. He's been around the world 3 times. So we have lived our lives, we say, to the fullest. Tried anyway, in the age of HIV. We were diagnosed in 1985, and I was so naive about HIV that it really didn't dawn on me that somebody told me I was going to die. I don't think I ever heard that, to be honest with you, because I was a newlywed, and I had to go home and tell this man that I had contracted a disease that was going to kill us both, and I was more afraid of that than the disease itself. And in his soft-spoken, comforting way, when I told him, all he said was, well, we'll just see what we have to do about it. And that was 32 years ago.
And there's life after being diagnosed with HIV. We're proof of it. I'm 75. She's 73.
Uh-oh.
See, women are great at not telling their true age, but I know where the bones are buried. But I love her.
And we have been through the struggles. I was the one between the two of us who was always sick. I've had tuberculosis. I've had pneumonia 5 times. I've been in every clinical trial you could possibly think of. And he was always the one who was the caregiver. And to tell you the truth, when you have somebody who loves you and you know that they love you as much as he loves me, it gives you strength and courage to do a lot of things that you wouldn't normally do. I happen to be one of the first black women in this city to go public with my status. And it wasn't easy, but I felt the need for black women to know how to live with this disease. And he encouraged me to do that. And he's always been my encouragement. And he never really talked much about HIV when we first started out, partly because he was a police officer. And he was very afraid to let his status be known because, you know, society is not always so kind when you are in the public, and particularly a public servant. So he lived with a lot of secrecy. So in that vein, I felt it was my job to educate him about how we stay alive and what we do.
And I follow directions very well.
So, we have gone along. We have a very loving faith community that supports us. I disclosed to my faith community one Sunday morning, I'll tell you a little story. I go to Episcopal Church, St. Bartholomew's, and I said to the rector one day, we ought to have a HIV ministry in this church. And he said, I think that's a wonderful idea. And I said, so you are interested in me running that? He said, yeah, we'll talk about it. So we have a church newsletter, and it came out the next week, and it said in big bold letters, come here, Stephanie Brooks Wiggins, talking about living with HIV. And I thought, oh, shit. So my girlfriend, Miss Inez Aney, who is in the audience tonight, said, are you really going to do this? And I said, I don't have any choice. She already put it out there in the streets. It's going to be here me talk. So that Sunday morning in the parish house, it was packed, standing room only. And I began to tell my story about being diagnosed and all of the illnesses and fears that I had gone through. And I have been in that church for 32 years. And I have not once ever had anyone treat me any differently than a loving member of their church family. And that says something about, for me and for him, about our survival, is because we have a faith community that also cares and supports us.
Well, one of the things in those 26 chapters that religion sort of have lost, one of the first things that God said was love one another. And we seem to have lost the capacity to love. And such a small word, L-O-V-E, what does that mean? It encompasses so much: togetherness, understanding, to thyself be true. And it also means being secure in who you are. Not a perception of what someone wants to think of you, who you are. Surviving 3 complete tours of Vietnam, I made a promise. I said, Lord, if I get through this with a sound body and a sound mind, which is questionable, but you have no problems out of me. So far, so good. We are a living work in progress. Positive thoughts, positive thinking, positive works make you want to go on. No one has to tell you what their perception is of you, because we're always talking of someone. If you talk to anybody who knows everything about anything, run. Because you'll be talking to a blooming idiot. And I've been fortunate. Being married 3 times, the last time is the one that works. But I was determined to do it until I got it right. This time, I got it right. And I'm so proud to be loved by her. I don't have to wonder about if I do this, if I do that. It's already not etched in stone, written in stone. It's a fact. Happy wife, happy life. That's the way I feel about it. And talking about HIV, they have segments. You have gay men, lesbian women. Where do I fit? A heterosexual man who happens to have HIV. The doctors don't know what to tell me. The medical profession and all that they're giving us, now they want to know, what do we do now? We followed all the rules. What do we do now besides live and try to educate people? It's not a sin. It may be a death sentence by somebody else's rules. Because we all going to do that. There are two things in this country we all going to do. Pay taxes and die. But we have a president, he hasn't paid taxes, so. But it's being able to express to people like you our journey, our success. Living through an era, not survivor era, because we're still living. That's the key. Living. And we're fortunate enough to love each other. Both words begin with L. Live and love.
And so as we look, as your journey continues, what does love have to do with it?
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
What does love have to do with it?
What does love have to do with it?
According to Tina Turner.
Oh, love means waking up in the morning and rolling over and seeing this person next to me and knowing that this is my safe space. Love means that anything I have to face outside in the world and I come home to see him, it's okay. Love means arguing and getting my opinion out on the table and standing my ground, but knowing this person isn't going to walk out the door because he doesn't agree with me. Love means being myself and letting him be himself. Love means sharing the very existence of your life with a partner. We are not monogamous. Humanity is not monogamous. You can't live in this world by yourself. And when you are fortunate enough to find somebody who dances to your music and even plays his own tune every now and then, it's really a nice thing. It hasn't always been peaches and cream. He's a recovering alcoholic. There was a time when I was going to leave him, not because I didn't love him, but because I didn't want him. But because I didn't want to live with him like that. But together we found a way to work through that horrible time. We were not afraid to get counseling. We were not afraid to talk to our family and our church. We were not afraid to confront each other. And so we got through that. Love means all of those things.
I couldn't have said it better myself. But we travel in tandem. You see one, you're going to see the other. Woo! Thank you.
Give it up for Stephanie and Vernon. Wow.